I'm Portia. This is my wife, Ellen.
Hi.
And
we've been together for 16 years. We've been married for 12 years. But the last time you were on the program, you surprised me for my birthday.
Yes, I did.
Which I was completely surprised.
The world.
I'm Portia, and this is my wife Ellen, she said with a smile. Hi, Ellen added, gently waving. The two have been together for 16 years, married for 12. The last time Portia appeared on a talk show, she was surprised by Ellen for her birthday, an unforgettable moment that melted hearts around the world. Audiences watched their love story blossom, but now, with time having passed and personal trials behind her, Portia is finally ready to reveal the truth behind the love, the pain, and the journey after divorce. What heartfelt confessions and surprising insights does she now share about love, loss, and healing? Portia de Rossi's story begins far from the glitter of Hollywood. Born Amanda Lee Rogers in a quiet town in Victoria, Australia, her early years were marked by a profound tragedy, the death of her father, Barry Rogers, when she was only 9. The loss devastated her and marked the beginning of a lifelong internal battle with identity and belonging. Her mother, Margaret, worked as a medical receptionist and became the sole provider for the family. Portia spent her childhood in Grovedale, a suburb of Geelong, where she began modeling in commercials and print ads. Despite early success, she always felt like a girl lost in a world too loud for her pain. By the age of 15, she made a decision that would shape the course of her life. She changed her name to Portia, inspired by a Shakespearean character, and adopted the surname de Rossi to create a new identity and distance herself from her grief. Her acting career started modestly with a role in the Australian film Sirens in 1994. But true breakthrough came after she moved to Los Angeles and worked hard to erase her Australian accent in hopes of fitting into the Hollywood mold. In 1998, she landed the role of Nell Porter in Ally McBeal, thrusting her into fame. But beneath the surface, she carried a heavy secret, her sexuality. At the time, she lived in fear that the industry and the public would reject her if they knew she was a lesbian. That fear haunted her through much of her career. In 1996, she married filmmaker Mel Metcalfe, not out of love, but in a failed attempt to secure a green card. The marriage ended in 1999, deepening her feelings of isolation. From 2000 to 2004, she was in a relationship with director Francesca Gregorini, but even then, she couldn't publicly acknowledge her truth. Everything changed in 2004 when she met Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen, already an LGBTQ+ icon, offered Portia a kind of peace she had never known. By 2005, Portia finally came out in interviews with details on The Advocate, openly speaking about her fears and her relationship with Ellen. It felt like a weight had been lifted. They were married in 2008 in an intimate ceremony in Beverly Hills, surrounded by loved ones. For Portia, it was like stepping into the light after years of hiding. But even with love and stability, internal battles remained. During her time on Ally McBeal, she suffered from anorexia and bulimia, disorders that left emotional scars. In 2010, she released her memoir Unbearable Lightness, a raw and painful account of her struggle with body image and the price of fame. Her hope was that her words would offer comfort to others silently suffering. In 2018, after years of reinventing herself, Portia made the surprising decision to retire from acting. While she agreed to return briefly for Arrested Development, she felt ready to step away from Hollywood. Her new focus was her relationship with Ellen and their shared commitment to animal rights. Together, they supported causes like Locks of Love and The Gentle Barn, finding deeper purpose outside of fame. Yet even then, shadows of her past followed. In 2017, Portia came forward with a disturbing revelation. During an audition years earlier, actor Steven Seagal had exposed himself to her. Though shaken and vulnerable, she refused to stay silent, using her platform to encourage other women to speak out. Through it all, Ellen remained her constant, her partner, her sanctuary. Their love story wasn't just about finding each other, it was about Portia finally finding herself. "I didn't know it could be this easy to love someone," Portia once said, capturing the sense of peace she had long sought. After years of fear, shame, and reinvention, she had finally found a life and a love that felt real. But Ellen, too, has her own story of pain and survival. In 1973, when she was just a child, her parents separated, and by the following year, they divorced. Her world shattered. Her mother, Betty, soon remarried a man named Roy Grusendorf, and Ellen moved to a small Texas town with her mother, leaving her brother Vance behind. This separation created a painful divide in her heart. But what should have been a new beginning quickly turned into a nightmare. Roy, the man who should have protected her, instead preyed on her vulnerability. Using her mother's breast cancer as an excuse, he violated her trust, claiming he needed to check for lumps. One night, his abuse escalated. He tried to force his way into her room. Ellen fled, spending the night at a hospital to escape. She lived in silence for years, suffocating under the weight of that trauma. When she finally found the strength to tell her mother what had happened, the response was more devastating than the abuse itself. Betty didn't believe her. She stayed with Roy for 18 more years. Ellen and Portia's stories, woven with trauma and resilience, remind us that healing takes time and truth takes courage. Together, they've built a life grounded in love, honesty, and strength. Their bond is a symbol of how light can emerge even from the darkest places, and how sometimes, the most powerful act of all is to simply be yourself. Despite a fractured home life, Ellen was left to navigate the pain alone. Yet, she pushed forward with determination, graduating from Atlanta High School in 1976. College, however, didn't hold her interest for long. She dropped out after just one semester at the University of New Orleans. Faced with the need to support herself, she took on whatever jobs she could, selling clothes at J.C. Penney, waiting tables, and bartending. It was a difficult grind, but Ellen couldn't sit still. In the smoky clubs and cozy coffeehouses of New Orleans, she found an unexpected refuge in comedy. It became her escape, her voice. In 1981, she landed a gig as the MC at Clyde's Comedy Club, and 3 years later, she was crowned Showtime's funniest person in America. "It was my way of surviving," she later said. Laughter didn't just come naturally to her, it became her armor, a way to deflect pain and connect with others. Though her rise in comedy was steady, the wounds of her past lingered. She poured herself into her work, trying to outrun the pain. By 2018, Ellen had returned to the stage after years away from stand-up, releasing her Netflix special Relatable, a way of telling the world that beneath the jokes and smiles, she was still human. But Ellen was more than a comedian. She explored acting, landing roles in films like Coneheads, and famously voicing Dory in Finding Nemo. Her portrayal of the forgetful, joyful fish brought light to many, though it masked years of swimming through her own painful memories. Her breakthrough in television came with the sitcom Ellen. In 1997, both she and her character came out as lesbian, making history, but also igniting controversy. Though the announcement was met with support, it also drew backlash, leading to the show's cancellation. Undeterred, she returned to television with The Ellen Show in 2001, but it too failed to last. Even when she found massive success again with The Ellen DeGeneres Show, whispers persisted, rumors that the ever-cheerful Ellen wasn't always as kind behind the scenes. Former writers and staff claimed there was a darker side to her, and the allegations cast a shadow over her otherwise glowing career. People began to question if the woman who danced daily with her audience was hiding more than just old wounds. Still, Ellen's career thrived. Her warmth and humor won millions of hearts. The Ellen DeGeneres Show became a staple of American daytime television, delivering memorable moments like flying her high school classmates out for a reunion on her show. "I never forgot where I came from," she'd say. In 2017, she broadened her reach with Ellen's Game of Games, a playful series that brought joy to viewers of all ages. But the image of nice Ellen began to feel like a trap. A 2018 New York Times profile revealed that she was struggling with the burden of maintaining the persona the world demanded. By 2021, Ellen decided it was time. She announced the end of The Ellen DeGeneres Show after 19 seasons. When the final episode aired in May 2022, it marked the end of an era filled with highs and lows, laughter and tears. Though the show concluded, its impact on television and audiences was undeniable. Ellen's story was never just about fame, it was about survival. She had hosted the Oscars, taken one of the most retweeted selfies in history, built a successful lifestyle brand, and advocated for animal rights, donating generously to causes she believed in. But no career is without controversy. In 2020, reports emerged of a toxic work environment on her show, sparking an internal investigation and the exit of several top executives. Ellen took responsibility, expressed her disappointment, and vowed to make things right. "I'm not perfect," she admitted, "but I'm trying." Then, in July 2024, she shocked the world again by announcing her retirement from show business. "This is the last time you're going to see me," she said. And just like that, an era came to a quiet close. The woman who made the world laugh for decades stepped away from the spotlight for good. Her financial success was equally remarkable. In 2020, Forbes estimated her earnings at $84 million, making her the 12th highest-paid entertainer in the world. With a net worth of $370 million, she had been ranked as the 50th most powerful woman in the world in 2015 and held the second spot on the World Pride Power list. On paper, it seemed she had it all. But numbers don't tell the whole story. Behind the accolades and the fame, there was always more to Ellen's life. Her social media presence was massive. In August 2018, she had 76 million Twitter followers and 55.8 million on Instagram. By November 2023, while her Twitter following dipped slightly to 75 million, her Instagram skyrocketed to 139 million, placing her among the world's top influencers. Ellen's reach was undeniable, but something about her always felt just out of reach, hidden behind smiles and perfectly timed jokes. Off-screen, she was a massive NFL fan, supporting the New Orleans Saints and Green Bay Packers. In one memorable moment, she even dressed up as Packers legend Don Hutson to attend a Saints practice. Fans loved her playful spirit and ability to laugh at herself. But not every part of her life was so lighthearted. Ellen's personal life, particularly her relationships, reflected many struggles. Coming out in 1997 had been a seismic decision. The media frenzy that followed damaged her career and deeply affected her personally. In her book Love, Ellen, her mother Betty shared how she was initially shocked, but eventually became one of Ellen's strongest advocates and a champion for LGBTQ+ rights. That maternal support was a lifeline during some of Ellen's darkest days. From 1997 to 2000, Ellen was in a high-profile relationship with actress Anne Heche. After their split, she dated photographer Alexandra Hedison until 2004. But it was her relationship with actress Portia de Rossi that defined the next chapter of her life. After their divorce, Portia broke her silence, revealing the deep emotional struggles they both faced. She first met Ellen in 2000 at a Hollywood event. At the time, Ellen was already a famous comedian and a proud member of the LGBTQ+ community, while Portia was a rising star still hiding her sexuality, terrified of the consequences of coming out. There was an instant connection, a spark, but Portia wasn't ready. They exchanged polite words and went their separate ways. Years passed before fate brought them together again. This time, both were single. The feelings that had once been buried could no longer be ignored. In 2004, they quietly began dating, keeping their love a secret as Portia still grappled with coming out publicly. Coming to terms with living openly wasn't easy for Portia, but Ellen, already out and proud, helped her navigate that difficult journey. "I had walls up," Portia would later say. "Ellen was the first person who made me feel safe enough to let them down." It was a love that felt different, more profound, as if they were meant to find each other. When their relationship became public, they quickly became symbols of love, especially for the LGBTQ+ community. Ellen's career was soaring, and Portia was gaining recognition for her role in Arrested Development. They seemed inseparable, often spotted hand in hand at events, laughing and sharing a closeness that was unmistakable. In 2008, after California lifted the ban on same-sex marriage, Ellen proposed to Portia in a quiet, intimate moment at home. Their wedding was simple but beautiful, attended by close friends and family. They exchanged vows, promising to stand by each other through everything life might throw their way. It felt like a victory, not just for them, but for so many who looked up to their courage and commitment. But life isn't always as perfect as it seems from the outside. Behind the smiles and joyful moments, struggles existed. As Ellen's career kept climbing, the pressure grew unbearable. By 2014, rumors began circulating about trouble in their marriage. The constant public scrutiny and the pressure to always be on started to wear them down. Portia, meanwhile, was battling her own demons, including long-standing eating disorders, and living in Ellen's immense shadow didn't help. She wanted to be seen on her own terms, but that's hard when your partner is one of the most famous people in the world. The demands of Ellen's show, the unending hours, the expectations, left Portia feeling lonely, even when Ellen was right beside her. In 2018, Ellen even considered ending her talk show, exhausted by the need to appear perpetually cheerful. "I'm just tired," she confessed to Portia. For a moment, it seemed like things might change. Portia supported the idea, hoping they could finally spend real time together and rebuild what had been quietly crumbling. But in the end, Ellen renewed her contract, and the emotional distance between them deepened. Then came the pandemic in 2020, bringing with it an avalanche of allegations that Ellen had fostered a toxic work environment. The media storm was relentless. Though Portia stood by her side in public, privately, the scandal added enormous strain to a relationship already under pressure. They fought more often. Ellen, determined to manage her public image, began exerting the same need for control at home. It didn't help. They tried therapy, they tried open communication, they tried everything to hold their relationship together. But sometimes, love alone isn't enough. Ellen's career obsession and Portia's growing isolation created a gap that couldn't be bridged. Eventually, after years of effort, they faced a heartbreaking truth: their once powerful love couldn't hold them together anymore. They still cared deeply for each other, but caring wasn't enough. "We tried," Portia said quietly after the divorce, "but some things are too broken to fix." Their love story, which once felt like a fairy tale, ended not with drama or scandal, but with a quiet, emotional goodbye. They would always have their memories, the laughter, the support, the deep connection, but even the strongest bonds can be worn down by personal battles and outside pressures. Sometimes, walking away is the only way to heal. Don't you think? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more heartfelt stories and related videos.